Listen to me. Everybody wants success, but nobody wants to wake up early enough to earn it. You keep saying you want a better life, more money, more peace, more freedom, but your alarm rings and you hit snooze on your dreams. Let me tell you something. Your life ain't changing because your habits ain't changing. At 4 a.m., something different happens that most people never experience. The world goes silent in a way that feels almost powerful. No notifications, no chaos, no noise pulling your attention in 10 different directions. It's just you, your thoughts, and your purpose. That kind of environment is rare, and it gives you an unfair advantage. While others are still deep in sleep, you're already gaining ground, already building momentum before the day even begins. This is where focus sharpens. When you wake up that early, your mind isn't cluttered yet. You can think clearly, plan better, and move with intention instead of reacting to everything around you. Most people start their day rushed, stressed, and behind. You start yours calm, prepared, and ahead. That shift alone changes how you show up in every area of your life. You're not chasing the day, you're controlling it. There's also a mental edge that comes with doing something most people won't. Waking up at 4 a.m. requires effort, and every time you do it, you prove to yourself that you're capable of discipline. That builds confidence in a way nothing else can. You begin to trust yourself more because you're keeping promises to yourself when it's hard, not when it's easy. That trust turns into power. While the majority are choosing comfort, you're choosing growth. And that gap grows wider every single day. 1 hour of focused work in the morning can outperform 3 hours of distracted effort later in the day. Over time, those early hours stack up into something massive. Skills improve, goals get closer, and your mindset evolves into something stronger and more resilient. It's not just about waking up early, it's about what that time represents. It represents ownership of your life. It represents a decision to stop being average and start becoming intentional. That's where winners are created, not in front of crowds or in moments of recognition, but in the quiet hours when nobody is watching and every choice is yours to make. Discipline is what carries you when motivation disappears. And trust me, it will disappear. You're not always going to wake up feeling excited, inspired, or ready to take on the day. There will be mornings when your body feels heavy, your mind is full of excuses, and that alarm sounds like the most annoying thing in the world. That's the moment most people fail, not because they don't have goals, but because they rely on feelings to guide their actions. Feelings are inconsistent. They change daily, sometimes hourly. Discipline doesn't. When you choose discipline, you make a decision ahead of time that no matter how you feel, you're going to show up anyway. It's a commitment that goes deeper than emotion. It says, I gave my word to myself and I'm not breaking it. That mindset creates a different kind of strength. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it's solid. It's the kind of strength that builds success brick by brick, day after day, without needing validation or applause. Every time you act in discipline, especially when you don't feel like it, you reinforce a powerful identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries, and you start seeing yourself as someone who executes. That shift changes everything. You don't negotiate with your goals anymore. You don't debate whether you should get up or stay in bed. You already decided, and now you follow through. Motivation might get you started, but it won't sustain you. Discipline is what keeps you consistent long enough to see real results. It turns actions into habits and habits into lifestyle. Over time, what once felt difficult becomes automatic. You don't rely on bursts of energy or inspiration. You rely on systems and routines that carry you forward no matter what kind of day you're having. This is where most people fall behind. They wait to feel ready. They wait to feel confident. They wait for the perfect moment. But those who win understand something different. Action creates confidence, not the other way around. And discipline is the engine behind that action. How you start your morning sets the tone for everything that follows. Most people wake up late, grab their phone, rush through their routine, and immediately feel behind. That pressure follows them all day. They're reacting instead of leading, chasing instead of directing. But when you wake up at 4 a.m., you flip that entire experience. You step into the day with space, clarity, and control. You're not jumping into chaos. You're creating structure. You decide what matters before the world starts demanding your attention. That quiet time allows you to think deeper, plan smarter, and act with purpose. Instead of letting the day push you around, you design it on your terms. That's a powerful shift, because control over your morning becomes control over your life. There's something about those early hours that sharpens your mindset. You can focus without interruptions, work on your goals without distractions, and build momentum that carries into the rest of your day. One productive morning doesn't just give you a good start, it gives you confidence. It reminds you that you're capable of executing, of moving forward, of making progress when it matters most. That momentum is everything. When you've already accomplished something meaningful before most people wake up, you walk into the day differently. You're not looking for motivation. You've already created it through action. You're not stressed about time. You've already invested it wisely. That sense of progress gives you an edge that others can't match. It also changes your relationship with time. Instead of feeling like there's never enough of it, you begin to realize how much control you actually have. You stop wasting hours on things that don't matter and start using them to build something real. That awareness alone can transform your productivity, your mindset, and your results. Over time, these mornings stack up. One disciplined start leads to another, and suddenly your days are no longer random. They're intentional. You're not just going through life anymore, you're directing it. That's what it means to truly win your morning. Because when you take control at the start, everything else begins to fall into place. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it quietly steals your future. That warm bed, that extra hour of sleep, that easy choice to stay where you are, it all feels harmless. But every time you choose comfort over growth, you're training yourself to avoid effort, to delay progress, to settle for less than what you're capable of becoming. And the dangerous part is it doesn't feel like failure. It feels normal. The problem is nothing meaningful is built in comfort. Growth requires friction. It requires you to step into moments that are uncomfortable, inconvenient, even painful at times. Waking up at 4 a.m. forces you into that space. It challenges your body, your mindset, and your habits. And in that challenge, you start to expand. You start to realize that you're stronger than your excuses. Most people design their lives around comfort. They avoid hard things, delay important decisions, and stay in routines that feel safe but keep them stuck. They tell themselves they'll start tomorrow, next week, or when they feel ready. But comfort keeps pushing that starting line further away. It creates a cycle where nothing changes, yet everything feels just good enough to stay the same. When you break away from comfort, even in something as simple as waking up earlier, you disrupt that cycle. You prove to yourself that you can do hard things. That one decision sends a message to your mind. You're no longer controlled by what feels easy. You're driven by what matters. That shift changes how you approach everything else in your life. Discomfort also builds resilience. The more you face it, the less power it has over you. What once felt difficult starts to feel normal. You stop running from challenges and start leaning into them, because you understand that's where the growth is. That's where confidence is built, not in easy moments, but in the ones that test you. Over time, choosing discomfort becomes a habit. You begin to seek progress instead of ease, discipline instead of shortcuts. And while others stay stuck in the same place, you keep evolving. That's the real cost of comfort. It keeps people exactly where they are. Breaking free from it is what opens the door to everything they've been wanting but never reaching. Big changes don't come from one massive decision. They come from small actions repeated consistently. Waking up at 4 a.m. might seem like a simple habit, but it's never just about the time. It's about what that choice represents. It's a signal to yourself that you're serious, that you're ready to move differently, think differently, and live differently. That one decision starts a chain reaction. When you wake up early, you naturally begin to structure your life better. You start planning your day, setting priorities, and using your time with intention. That leads to better focus, which leads to better results. And it all started with something small, just getting out of bed when you said you would. That's how powerful habits work. They don't look impressive at first, but they build momentum over time. Each small win adds up. One productive morning turns into a productive day. A productive day turns into a productive week. Before you realize it, your entire lifestyle begins to shift. You're not scrambling anymore, you're executing. You're not guessing anymore, you're moving with clarity. And it all feels natural because it's built on consistency, not pressure. Small habits also reshape your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who procrastinates or waits for the right moment. You begin to see yourself as someone who takes action, someone who follows through. That internal shift is powerful because once your identity changes, your behavior follows automatically. You don't have to force discipline. It becomes part of who you are. A lot of people underestimate small habits because they want quick results. They want something dramatic that changes everything overnight. But real transformation doesn't work like that. It's quiet, steady, and often invisible in the beginning. The results show up later, but when they do, they're undeniable. The key is consistency, not perfection, not intensity, consistency, showing up every day, even when it feels small, even when it feels like it's not making a difference. Because over time, those small actions compound into something powerful. They build confidence, sharpen focus, and move you closer to the life you've been aiming for. One decision at a time, the life you keep thinking about, the one where you're successful, confident, financially free, and at peace. That life isn't just going to appear one day. It's waiting on something. It's waiting on your decision to stop delaying and start acting. Every goal you have requires effort, and that effort has to come from you. Not someday, not later, but now. Waking up at 4 a.m. is more than just a habit. It's a declaration. It's you saying, I'm done waiting. I'm done making excuses. I'm taking control. Because the truth is, time is moving whether you act or not. Days are passing, opportunities are slipping, and the gap between where you are and where you want to be is either shrinking or growing based on what you do daily. Most people keep pushing their dreams into the future. They tell themselves they'll start when things feel easier, when they have more time, when they feel more ready. But that moment rarely comes. Readiness is created through action, not waiting. And the longer you delay, the harder it becomes to break the cycle. Your future is built in the present. What you do in those early hours when it's quiet and nobody is watching shapes the direction of your life. That's where progress happens. That's where discipline is formed. That's where you either move closer to your goals or stay stuck in the same place. There's also a level of responsibility that comes with wanting more out of life. You can't keep expecting different results while holding on to the same habits. Something has to change, and that change starts with you. No one is coming to do it for you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. It has to be built step by step, decision by decision. At some point, you have to face a simple question. Are you serious about your future, or are you comfortable staying where you are? Because your actions will answer that question every single day. And when you choose to wake up early, to show up, to put in the work even when it's hard, you're not just starting your day, you're stepping into the life you've been wanting all along.